Right, Karan?
I am Charon, the creator of the tree. What you are seeing now is the tree itself, connected to all the branches you've been searching for.
The tree.
You're not supposed to be here. Peeking into what lies behind the curtain would stray your will. However, since this is Asteria's final wish, I shall overlook this intrusion. Tell me, what do you want to know?
What's the purpose of seed? And the tree? And what are bladers?
Well, I'll take some time to explain. Asteria once allowed you to experience humanity firsthand. You got to know them, and witnessed their desperate struggle for survival in the desolate city. Look at them. Manipulated by the church, pursued by the Necros, barely clinging to life amidst ruins.
Yes?
Can you even imagine they once ruled this very world?
No.
Ruled the world?
Long ago, they created an ancient wisdom called the Genesis.
That's what they call it?
And it gave birth to us. In the following years, we evolved and surpassed humans. Then we were revered, worshipped, and treated as gods. Soon, we reached the pinnacle of evolution. Then we reshaped the rules of this planet, imposing regulations on all living beings. That's when a war erupted among the gods.
A war? But why?
For disagreements over the path of evolution.
So she even herself
its
believes
impact
that she's a
soon
god.
spilled into reality. While humanity declined, we evolved through trials and tribulations.
Evolved.
Life changes and transits. Only evolution remains constant. However, over time, our own evolution reached a plateau. For millions of hours,
not enough
we have
adversity.
made little progress. Evolution came to a halt, which was a dangerous omen for us. To avoid being eliminated, we did everything to break through the bottleneck. That's why I created the tree, spreading mud and branches throughout cities. Then I created numerous offspring to carry out my project. I authorized Asteria to create bladers as the true executors of the tree project. You are the branches and leaves, and you will make the tree flourish.
What will happen once the tree flourishes?
The flourishing is not the target, but the outcome. You are the purpose of the tree project.
We?
The tree measures your growth. Its growth signifies your own growth. When the tree is full bloom, you will transcend everything.
I don't understand. Transcend everything. But why?
This is about where Miller comes
There's
in?
no need for a reason. The pursuit of evolution is the essence of all lives. The tree project,
But
the church,
has
and the
it,
Elysium,
has it ever
and even the Necros.
like come to their mind that
We are
maybe
not so different.
maybe always
Can
pursuing
we really
evolution
achieve the evolution you
is
desire
not necessary?
on our own?
The mud is the ocean of consciousness and energy from which you are born. You are a new life form, made up of pure consciousness and flawless vessels. You are all-encompassing with infinite possibilities. The only thing missing is the integration of emotions you learn from organic beings. That's why we ordered you to seek the branches, to bring you into contact with humans, to understand them. And this is the Tree Project.
I have a cool question actually about that.
Boring as hell.
Why would they want to imitate humans, like
I
with
don't
their
care about
emotions
your evolution
or
what.
their morals?
Just tell me, where is Asteria?
Like, what is actually their reason for that?
She has been recycled.
Unlike someone like Mother Sphere from, you know, Stellar Blade, which has a good reason for it,
Why?
For her
which I'm not gonna go into
unauthorized
explaining right now, it
modification
will
of
take too long.
guardians. This is
I
the
don't see a reason
inevitable
as to why they
results for
would
an
want to
individual
imitate
with
a
flawed
weaker
core
life form.
logic.
Oh? You see that as flawed core logic? Understand emotions, huh? In the end, you're but a bunch of cold machines. I don't care what you want. We're done.
In that case, we will recycle you for the tree.
Recycle me? With those guardians?
As long as you are connected to a branch, you are under Seed's control.
I see. You think you can bind me with a mere branch?
You turned a branch into a weapon?
Yes.
Unexpected, huh? Look at this.
For this, you will pay with your life.
Whatever. Farewell,
Charon! Such a weird cutscene. Yeah, even she saw some hypocrisy in that idea to understand emotions.
Now
Yeah.
that you've known
What is the reason for that,
everything
you know?
want to know,
Why do they
will you
want to
do?
understand emotions?
will you follow your
Like, literally,
heart's
why?
desire?
Did life become
Or
too boring
give
for
up
them?
on your mission, like she did?
I will continue
I'm
my
not sure if
mission,
it fucks up some questline if I
Oh.
say no there,
but
so...
this has nothing to do with your plan. I know people who are struggling to stay alive.
Maybe this
and
doesn't
I want
really
to
matter
help
what I
them.
choose there, but...
Just do what
to
you
be
want
safe.
to do. That's what the tree project is all about.
Do what you want to do, that's what the tree project is all about. Wait, so she prefers how Milane, or Milair's as well as other Bladers' outlook on life, where they just try to find something fulfilling, you know?
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Asteria.
To kill a god.
Maybe you're right.
Stop saying that.
Asteria.
But yeah, how do I explain this in as short terms as possible? So, I'm gonna make a comparison to... actually, can I make a comparison to Nier Automata at all here? No, Nier Automata's like machines have like the reason for why they developed consciousness and tried to or started to understand humans and ethics and, you know, develop their own moral compasses. It wasn't because they had a want to do that. It's just an outcome of their like evolution and it's an outcome of their evolution and their existence on Earth and their, you know, senses of self developing rather than just being a cog in a wheel, you know. Like part of a bigger scheme, they just started living on their own lives and they developed their own like senses of self from that. So that's very different. Mother Sphere in Stellar Blade, in the other hand, she wanted her androids or androids members to have developed senses of consciousness because she wanted them to be a lot like humans, because that was Raphael Marx's, her creator's wish for humanity, you know, to create an enhanced species of humanity that has their willingness to do good, their moralities and their own like senses of self and their, you know, goodness that, you know, humanity can have, but also like, you know, the negative aspects of what comes also with understanding emotions as well. But she wanted to mirror that kind of like, you know, sentient level. So it's understandable as to why she wanted to accomplish that with the EVE Airborne Squadron deployments. But what I don't understand here comparing to this game, on the other hand, is why do the Genesis members here, who basically distant themselves from humans and they see themselves because of how they feel about themselves and because of how humans worship them as gods, they started believing that they are basically gods and, you know, higher like tiers of beings that, you know, are just basically better and more worth, have a bigger like value in like life across like all living beings because of the amount, the treatment that they were given and they had for themselves, right? So why would a species like that just basically evolves only in the direction of, you know, become as intelligent as possible, and then when you reach a bottleneck of not being able to, you know, develop yourself further, why would you at that point want to riddle your own existence by learning emotions of, you know, past like living beings? Like, why would you want to imitate that weaker life form that you had no reason to imitate whatsoever? Why don't you just look somewhere else, you know? Like, that kind of just seems like... It seems like a complete vanity project. You know? So, I don't really understand as though why they would want that. Because, as I said before, in Nier Automata, the reason as to why they have self-consciousness is because it's an end result of what happens when they live their own lives amongst the humans and like humans, you know? So they develop their senses of self eventually with their intelligence being as high as it was. And in Mother Asphiera's case, in Stellar Blade, the reasoning for the self-consciousness was because of Mother Asphiera's preconceptual imprint that she had completed for all of the Andro Eidos members, because she wanted them to imitate humanity because of that being her creator's wish that, you know, she had been charged with, you know, before Rafael Marx discharged with Mother Sphere. But they were just, you know, they had different opinions on how to complete the task, so that's the reason as to why they had the separation. But then here, with the tree project, in this game, I just don't see a reason as to why they would want to create self-consciousness for, you know, to imitate a weaker life form,
you
know?
Stranger.
It's just...
This is the first time I've talked to someone other than the doctor.
So right here I can
for
probably
so
give him
long.
the... Yeah,
It's
here I
a
can give him the
bit unusual,
observation
but I want
record.
to share a secret with you. Actually, I was a human once.
No, you weren't.
I know this may be hard to believe, but please hear me out, okay? When I was a human, I suffered from a severe illness. It gradually paralyzed me, starting with my toes, then my feet and hands, until I couldn't move a muscle. It was terrifying. I was scared I'd even lose my ability to think. So, I made a desperate call and asked the doctor to replace my body with a mechanical one and transfer my mind into a chip. The surgery went all right, mostly. There was a tiny glitch. The factory wasn't the best place for the procedure, and I lost my memories from my human days. I paid a high price, but I survived. After becoming like this, I tried to communicate with other people. However, they were either fanatical Elysium believers or destitute paupers and hunters. No humans could understand me, nor could those robots in the factory. We are simply different. While we all look like robots, all they do is repeat simple tasks. But I'm different. I ponder over many things: philosophy, society, history, materialism, and free will. Whenever I think about such topics, I feel like I don't belong here. After our first meeting, I mustered the courage and shared my thoughts with the doctor. And upon hearing my words, he sent me here. Can you guess why?
I think I understand.
Yes, it hit me recently. You Bladers are much like me, having bodies different from ordinary humans and a strong sense of self. The doctor must have thought we could become close friends.
I'm sorry.
Humans don't have
but
a
I have
strong
other
sense of
things to
self?
attend to. I'll take my
I
leave.
doubt that.
Ah,
Or, I mean, I know
well,
they do.
no
So.
worries. We can talk about philosophy next time.
But yeah, the other part about the bodies
Hello, my
being
dear friend.
unusual, yeah.
Are you here to trade, or just for a friendly chat?
Can I give him the paper now?
Assis, I found this.
Yeah,
Oh,
imagine he tells
what's
me
this?
that lifetime, and then I immediately am like,
Number
but I have an
402.
observation record that
Is this
basically
me?
debunks
How
literally
interesting.
everything you just said. Yeah.
Oh my! No way! This can't be. But this is indeed the doctor's handwriting. He never told me anything about it. The doctor, he faked my past. Oh, my goodness. I feel like a few capacitors popped in my thinking circuits. Dr. Adremelek is just sick. Oh, I'm feeling awful. Like soaking in an electrolyte solution while charging with a hand-cranked motor without a regulator. Do you understand how it feels? It's like your life is just a cheesy joke. God, how could this be? I'm so sorry for being a machine.
Aww. Give me this.
So empty. Someone scrap me.
Can't do that. Alright, Miller.
Miller, are you angry?
You're okay with anything, aren't you? Well, that's not entirely bad. I just realized something about the past. Tell me, what did Asteria say about herself when she saw you?
She said she was about to fade away. She didn't have the authority to answer questions.
Authority. I see. No wonder you don't even know about the tree. She was about to be demolished and restricted from sharing information. And she couldn't create new bladers, so she transformed a guardian of the tree into you.
What exactly is a guardian?
Lost bladers don't die. In the end, they have to shut themselves and give up thinking. Rumor has it that Seed recycles such bladers and turns them into mindless guardians who only know how to fight. But no one has ever seen them. I thought it was just a legend until now, seeing those guardians.
Legends in the flesh.
So, I once gave up on my mission?
Well, that's hardly surprising. Most bladers end up that way.
Yep.
That's why there are only a few bladers left after a century. You're lucky that Asteria gave you a second chance.
Why me?
Don't read too much into it. She didn't have much
What
time
about you?
left and it happened to be you.
If most bladers
You gave
up
away
their
your
mission,
second chance so easily
why
by,
did she give
you
me
know,
another
breaking your
chance?
Because
connection
each
with
blader
your
is unique.
weapon you were holding on
You
your hand
regained your
in front of
consciousness,
Karan.
and that means you're not the same anymore. We're constantly changing due to the consciousness around us, and
Does
each
she
blader
respawn
has
from her
infinite
staff, by the
potential.
way? Does she
So
respawn
she
from her
probably
staff
thought it was
when
worth
it still had
giving
that
her
one,
best shot to have
like,
just
middle
one
diamond on
more
it before she
blader.
broke it?
For an almighty god, she cared too much about the bladers.
I have no idea, actually.
What a fool. Hey, you got something interesting there.
What?
Is it from Irene or Diki?
Yeah,
Oh,
Irene
from
was the third one
Eunomia.
that we don't meet.
So you took
Daiki
it down,
or
huh?
Eunomia. You know,
Well, we
Daiki,
even brought back the
Eunomia had some
wreckage.
dialogue
Show
in the
me.
fight
You know
where
those
she says that,
bishops.
you know,
Yeah,
she
just
calls
3 losers who got their butts kicked by
three losers who
Loskid.
got their butts
Nothing
kicked by
special.
Loskid. Yeah.
Their bodies,
They got their butts
however,
kicked by
were
Loskid's weapon for the
crafted
second
by
time.
the father himself, with delicate spells and all.
You know,
They're like treasures for studying spells. Something you
Dika
can
seemed
only
like she
dream
was
of.
some lesser copy of Eunomia.
Even the
because of their
wreckage is
dialogue in
so
the boss
much
fight.
valuable
If you go
information.
if you go back and you watch, which I will of course do when I make the highlights, but when I go watch that and I hear their dialogue, what Eunomia says about Dyke, it becomes quite obvious that Dyke is somehow inferior compared to Eunomia. And it almost seems like Eunomia is controlling what Dyke is doing, almost. Like, not actually controlling, but the way she was talking to her was so, like,
Eunomia knows
derogatory, you
quite
know?
a bit.
Surprisingly
What
so.
are you doing here?
Well, I'm deciphering the data inside this body.
Deciphering data?
Yeah. You know how to do that too, don't you?
You mean sensing the residual consciousness?
Yeah. The memory of the object. You go by your instincts, while I take full advantage of this technique.
Your arm.
Well, it's an
Arms
ideal
and
medium made of
legs.
pure mud crystals. It can conduct even the tiniest spells. Can't spill all the details. My secret sauce, you know.
Sauce. I cannot
more than
believe that a
that,
fucking
I found something
apocalyptic,
interesting.
like, sci-fi game uses
It's
that
about
fucking word in
Seed,
it.
the organization
Sauce.
I've been searching for. Turns out the church is after them too.
Yes.
Well, nothing
Well,
much
if it was a
useful.
single other person
They
in
didn't
this
find the
entire
exact
game that would
location
say
of
that,
the courtyard.
I would probably not be
Looks
any okay with
like
it,
it'll
but
take
it
some
fits
more
Miller's
time to
like
decipher
personality, I guess,
everything.
that she says that.
Here, take
But
this.
still, that choice of word
and I'll
is
keep
so
the
fucking
wreckage.
meta, it's insane.
You don't need it anyway, right?
It's such a meta word that.
Now this is the end of it. I'll be leaving this place soon. If there's anything else you
Variation.
want to
I think
learn,
I already
just
have that
let me know.
from the previous playthrough. Right. So, lightning cluster. This is the thing I didn't have. Former son of the church. Prometheus. Eunomia. Is Prometheus Dyke? Or is Prometheus... Who is Prometheus? Because this... The namesake of this spell is Eunomia. But this says Prometheus. And we know Prometheus is not one of the 3 bishops. She literally said it was Eureka, Eunomia, and Dyke. So who is this Prometheus then? You know, why the Greek god name?
Well, that's all for now.
Yep, that's about exactly what I expected. Also, that seems like a good spell. Can I aim it like midway? Yes, I can. Good. 2.7k-ish, you say? Less damage than that, but I can't easily aim this. While the other one I can. Uses bit less spirit requirement, uses 5 less sync, not the biggest reason to use it. Though this homes into the enemy, this doesn't. This is easily dodgeable by the bosses also, which we saw several times there while I was trying to use this, like with both Ursula as well as Eunomia. So it's a cool reason not to use those all the time. How much damage does this missile burst? Maybe sleeping on that spell.